All right, kids, The Reason for the Seasons by Gail Gibbons. This is a great explanation, and I will read it in English because it's a tricky topic. The reason for the seasons. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. These are the 4 seasons of the year. The sun warms the surface of the earth, the planet we live on. The tilt of the earth in relation to the sun changes throughout the year. That is what makes the seasons. The earth is tilted. Each season lasts about 3 months. 4 seasons make a year. That's how long it takes for Earth to revolve or make the trip around the sun. As Earth circles the sun, different parts of Earth are closer to the sun than others. This affects the amount of light and heat they receive. Here's the best picture. Earth is only slightly tipped as it turns on its axis. It makes 1 full rotation on its axis every 24 hours as it moves along its path around the sun. That makes day and night. When the North Pole is tipped toward the sun and the South Pole is tipped away, it is summer in the Northern Hemisphere and winter in the Southern Hemisphere. There we go. We are not there now. Summer. The sun is shining right on us in the summer. But down south, it's winter. But now we're here. 6 months later, when Earth has traveled to the other side of the sun and the North Pole is tipped away, it is a winter in the Northern Hemisphere and summer in the Southern Hemisphere. The seasons of one hemisphere are always opposite of those in the other hemisphere. We're not there now, but we're going to get there. We're right here in autumn. Herbst. Spring. In the Northern Hemisphere, sun begins to shine, where spring begins about March 21st. This is the season when more sunshine causes cooler air to be replaced by warmer air. In the Southern Hemisphere, autumn is beginning. The first day of spring is called the spring equinox. When spring begins in the Northern Hemisphere, Earth has moved along the path so the sun is directly opposite the equator. On this day, daylight and darkness are the same length of time over the entire Earth, just like the fall equinox on September 21st. We're past that already. In ancient times, some people celebrated this day because it was the beginning of a growing season. Spring is the season when some birds that have been away for the winter return again. This is called migration. Die Zugvögel. Some whales migrate too. Watch this. Some animals that slept all winter wake up and look for food. Spring winds are good for kite flying. It is the season when everything seems to come alive again. Trees grow new leaves and flowers bloom. Some crops are planted. It has some things like herbst, the migration of the whales and the birds, the kite flying. But it's the opposite. It's when things begin to grow. Slowly the days in the Northern Hemisphere become longer because that part of the Earth is tilted more toward the sun. We see the sun higher in the sky. More direct sunlight reaches the ground for longer periods of time, and we have nice long days when we can stay up till 8 or 9 o'clock in the light. Summer begins in the Northern Hemisphere about June 21st. I can't wait. The northern hemisphere is tilted more toward the sun than at any other time of the year. It is the warmest season. In the southern hemisphere, winter is beginning. We have nice summer. I can't wait till next summer. I'm out of here. The first day of summer is called the summer solstice. It is the longest day of the year. On this day, we see the sun at its highest point in the sky. The hottest days of summer take place after summer solstice because the earth keeps absorbing more heat. Flowers and plants grow under the warm sun, and many animals are busy raising new families. In the summertime, people have fun outdoors. They can go to a beach, swim in a lake, or read under the shade of a big tree full of large green leaves. During summer, daylight is long. We see the sun high in the sky. It might still be daylight at bedtime. The nights are shorter. And here we are. Autumn begins about September 21st in the northern hemisphere. It is the season when the air starts to get cooler. The leaves of some trees turn to beautiful colors and fall to the ground, which is why people call this season fall. In the southern hemisphere, spring is beginning. The first day of autumn is called the autumn equinox. When autumn begins in the northern hemisphere, Earth has moved along its path so that the sun is directly opposite the equator again. On this day, daylight and darkness are about the same. Many people since ancient times celebrate the harvest. We're past this day already. Now our nights are long. And here we go again, Zugvogel. Some birds migrate to warmer climates. Animals prepare themselves for the long cold season to come. Children go back to school in many places. It is the harvest season. Farmers gather their crops, and there are country fairs too. The air becomes cooler because the northern hemisphere is tilted farther away from the sun. The days grow shorter and the nights become longer. We see the sun lower in the sky. Like now. In the northern hemisphere, winter begins around December 21st. This is the time of year when the northern hemisphere is tilted farthest from the sun. It is the coldest season of the year. In the summer hemisphere, summer is beginning. The first day of winter is the shortest day of the year. This is called winter solstice. On this day, we see the midday sun at its lowest point in the sky. In early times, the first day of winter was celebrated as a festival to honor light, to keep away darkness, and to hope for the sun's return. The coldest days of the winter come after the winter solstice because the earth keeps losing heat it gained in the summer. Leaves are gone from most of the trees. There aren't as many birds. Cardinals. They're there. Some animals sleep all winter. This is called hibernation. Often it is very cold. They are not Zugvogel. They stay here. It may be time for ice skating, skiing, and making snowmen. Some people wear winter coats, jackets, mittens, and hats. Sometimes it's nice to stay indoors. During winter, there's very little daylight and the nights are long. Sometimes it is dark before dinner. Areas by the equator don't have much temperature change at all. These places are hardly affected by the earth tilting. Instead, they have two seasons, rainy and dry. Rainy and dry. 2 rainy seasons and 2 dry seasons. Each day at the equator, daylight and darkness are equal. At the North Pole and South Pole, it is always cold. When a pole is tilted farther from the sun, it is winter. During Parts of the winter, the sun never appears over the horizon, like in Alaska. It is always dark. When a pole is tilted closer to the sun, it is summer. At times, it is always light. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Year after year, the seasons repeat themselves. Earth and its many relationships to the sun are the reason for the seasons. The tilt, and once a year it goes around. It's herbs now. We're heading into winter, and I can't wait till next spring and summer for a new beginning.